So, some afterthoughts. These are just some notes that I've made after the lessons that we've gone through, these 7 lessons. So let's just call this lesson number 8. So I was thinking to myself about ways that I want to do things, and I just want to give this as an example for you to think of ways that you want to do things. So instead of burning incense with toxic charcoals, I can make herbal infusions to use as libations. This was a really good idea that I really liked, because in the past I've been using charcoal discs, which are like quick lighting charcoals that contain all kinds of chemicals, and the thought in the back of my mind was, I don't like this. I don't like these chemicals and things that are, being produced in the smoke. So I was thinking of different ways of doing it. Just try to think a little bit outside the box, and I thought, well, what about, instead of burning something, I can use a liquid water or whatever, just use water and have the water infused with herbs. That's another way to use herbs. And then I take that water and I pour a little bit on the ground, and that is my offering. That's something that I've been experimenting with. Another idea was, instead of buying crystals from often exploitative mines, I can pick up rocks on the beach, pebbles in the river, and stones in the dirt. Now, this is something I do anyway, but my little crystal collection of things that I've picked up in local shops has grown over the years, and there's always been something in the back of my mind saying, like, oh, I'm not sure, I don't feel completely comfortable, because there's never really any information about where exactly each crystal has come from. Like, I've been told, oh, it comes from this country, but apart from that, who knows what's going on in that country. And not knowing the history of where a rock has come from and how it has traded hands sometimes makes me a little uncomfortable, and I don't like the idea of businesses mining the earth for all these crystals and extracting them from the ground. It just doesn't feel quite right to me. So what I do feel good about is when I'm on a walk and I happen to see something glittery on the ground or in the sand, and it's a beautiful quartz crystal. You can find them all around, and I think that is so much more powerful. It's such an experience to find something out in nature that is really, really personal just to you, instead of like a commercial experience of going shopping. To me, that feels much better. So what I'm trying to say is, pay attention to your feelings, pay attention to the way something makes you feel. Another idea was that fruits and vegetables can be employed. Potatoes are really common in traditional folk charms, and speaking to plants and trees as my allies, they can help me as much as I can help them. So I'm just thinking about, ways that I can grow my own herbs, grow my own vegetables. Is something that I've been having so much fun with. And whether you can just have a little potted plant in your house, or if you have a little bit of a patio, a little bit of a garden, maybe you've got some ground that you can plant things. It's such a great experience to be able to build that relationship. And potatoes, something as mundane as a potato, something as normal as a root vegetable. It's something so simple that you just might not usually think of as a magical ingredient, but it can be used in spells and charms. So I think a lot of the old traditional folk magic calls on very normal, simple things that you can find in your house, things that are just really everyday items. So trying to think a little bit more about how I can use everyday items. And natural spirituality connects us soul to soul. For me, what that means is not just connecting between people, but also animals and plants and the whole planet, and not just the planet even, but outer space, you know, the other planets and the stars and everything in the universe is connected spiritually. And sometimes we forget that fact, and spirituality is a way to rediscover that connection for me. I've got some little quotes that I've written. This is a quote from Aradia, Gospel of the Witches by Charles Leyland. Here we go. I have found a holy stone upon the ground. O fate, I thank thee for the happy find. Also the Spirit who upon this road hath given it to me, and may it prove to be for my true good and my good fortune. Spirit of good omen, who art come to aid me, believe I had great need of thee. Spirit of the red goblin, since thou hast come to aid me in my need, I pray of thee, do not abandon me. I beg of thee to enter now this stone, that in my pocket I may carry thee, and so when anything is needed by me, I can call unto thee, be what it may. Do not abandon me by night or day. Should I lend money unto any man who will not pay me when due, I pray thee, red goblin, make him pay his debt. This is just a little passage from Aradia, which I wanted to write down in here because it reminds me of how simple magic can be. It can be as simple as finding a rock on the ground and connecting with the soul, the spirit of nature, connecting with all of these spirits around us, and making basically a pact, an agreement, a cooperation between forces, spiritual forces. There's another little quote. I can't remember who it's by, but I wrote it down anyway. Oh, do not tell the priests of our arts, for they would call it sin, for we will be in the woods all night, a conjuring summer in. I like that little one. And I was just thinking about, how you celebrate times of the year and how you celebrate your rituals, how you celebrate your spirituality. Dancing and singing, wild and free, we have a natural instinct to love and care for each other. Spirituality is a way of reminding ourselves of this and training our minds to remain focused on our ideals, instead of being distracted by petty things. We recognize the transience of this world, always shifting, turning with the seasons. Let us imagine a future for the younger generation which is hopeful and green. Let us use our creativity to innovate a DIY religion of nature. Keep it scaled down to a network of small groups, no central organisation. We can have leaders without hierarchy, cooperation without authority. Instead of a pyramid structure, a circle works as a team. Decisions are made as a group, and roles are delegated according to ability. A priestess is simply a person chosen to direct the proceedings. This can be a task which people take turns to perform. Outside of a group setting, everyone is their own priestess. We all have our own style of priestessing. So, those are my thoughts. I hope you found my little scribblings helpful, and maybe you can think of your own ideas of what you want to sort of describe. Just collecting your thoughts in your grimoire, I think, is a really useful practice. It's something I do on a regular basis. I just might have some ideas come to me, and maybe I just want to work through those ideas by writing them down and exploring and seeing where they lead. Like, I didn't plan out what I was going to write in these 2 pages. I didn't plan any of it. I just sort of gradually developed what I was doing on the page. So I find it really useful, and I hope you have been finding this series of lessons really useful too. So thank you for watching.